I always say there is something that I want to show that puts a positive spin on it, right? There's one thing that I can look at. Speaking of WWE, see how this all flows together? The Miz, he came out and said, the Miz said he wants the Browns to give Shedeur Sanders the starting quarterback job the entire season, adding that he believes the rookie has already embraced Cleveland. I know a lot of people are going, oh, Watson might be back. This crazy. We don't need him. I don't want him. I want Shedeur. I want to give Shedeur the entire season and see what he have in him. Let's give Shedeur a chance to be a franchise player because I feel he is taking Cleveland as his community. Whenever someone comes into Cleveland, you have to represent Cleveland, and I like the way he's been doing that. Let me just tell you something. There's one thing that propaganda gets wrong. Propaganda is very, very persuasive because they continue to flood the market. But let me just give you this. There is also something to be said for grassroots efforts of people who are not dumb enough to fall for it. People who don't toe the company line. People who are not just going to blindly believe anything. People that understand discernment and understand the way things go. People that will push back and say there's no way a person who is going through struggles personally with gambling is somehow more morally viable to be a leader in that locker room than a guy who goes to schools and talks to disenfranchised kids, a guy that goes to projects when it burned down, a guy that is a God-fearing individual, a dude who gives an interview to multiple people. All of this stuff. You have to remember that ain't in reality. We live in reality. A lot of this internet stuff is on the internet. It's the WWE. And what we got to remember is you count and you matter more than you know. You count and you matter more than you know. You have to be willing to be untired. Sometimes I come on these airwaves and sometimes I come around here and I talk and sometimes you don't even know. You don't even understand how tired you get from day to day talking about this stuff, talking about nonsensical things, talking about things that obviously have tones of just undertones of inequality, of engagement farming, rage baiting, and you're just sitting here and you got to stand in that mist. It gets tiring. But the thing you got to be willing to do is be unbothered and untired in the real world. Because as long as they continue to come up with this nonsensical, ridiculous stuff, you also have to have the injury to be like, no, we ain't doing it. You got to always say, I got time for it today. I got time for it today. Try something. Let me try something like this. And I told myself this. What does a believer and a non-believer have in common? Why would you think that people who don't like the Browns, don't root for the Browns, have already been wrong about the Browns? What makes you think that any proof, any things that they'll get in real time is going to make them change their minds about the Browns or what they talk about? It's not. So the goal is this. Why am I going back and forth with you about certain things? You know what I'm going to do? I told him like this. If I don't feel like this is a productive conversation, I'm not going to use my light and my energy to amp this up. I can make anything entertaining. I can make a lot of things entertaining. That's what my gift is. I refuse to use my gift for tomfoolery. I'm not doing it. And my suggestion to everybody is this. When the tomfoolery comes, leave them comments off the board. Just log it away up here. That's where it happens. Every time you put them comments in there, they laugh all the way to the bank. And let me tell you something. I don't like it. I'm going to get to it. Mark Schlereth, I don't like your tone, dog. It's a lot of good people that happen to support Shedeur Sanders. And when you say people's fan bases is stupid, who you think you is, dog? You don't know all them folks. You gonna call a whole, it's haters everywhere. It's people I don't agree with all the time. I don't call everybody's fan bases stupid. I don't call everybody that's supporting somebody stupid. I don't do that. But the point is, I came to talk to you. People can see you say whatever you want to. But the reason they calling you dumb and the reason that they call you, the reason that they calling your fan base, they call these little names is because they do it so that you can get upset and go right back to the comment section and feed the same thing and they laugh in your face. They want to call names and Shedorians. Here's what you do. You guys are great at coalescing. Tell them to cook without the Shedorians. They want to call names. They want to disrespect you. Tell them to go write them articles without us looking. You can't do that, man. I do not like the level of disrespect that comes with that. At the end of the day, you shouldn't disrespect people because they root for somebody, because they like somebody. And it goes two ways. It goes two ways. You don't have to not like Deshaun Watson. You don't have to like Deshaun Watson, or you don't have to be a Deshaun Watson detractor. You don't have to be a Deshaun Watson detractor to support Shedeur Sanders. You don't have to do that. So what I'm telling people is this: support your team, support your people, and support the people that support you. Because at the end of the day, the goal is this: we are all here to talk about the game of football. We are all here to talk about a team that we all say we want to support. But we get into this back and forth argument where it's the team, and then it's the media, and then it's the community, and then it's the players. And all of us is at some sort of angle where we don't like this person and that person. And we just came off of a positive draft. We just came off where people was giving us A+ for the draft. In less than 2 weeks, we are here doing this. Less than 2 weeks. Speaking of, we're going to transition and talk about what matters. And that's the fact that people was on the field participating. People was on the field doing what they needed to do. People was on the field and the rookies was out there cooking. When you take a look at this Cleveland Browns roster, I can't wait, because the goal that I got and the thing that I really want to see more than anything is I just want to see them be good. And then people have to watch that. Because when you look at what the Browns is, I talked about this before. The Cleveland Browns got ball players. Cleveland Browns got ball players that is going to elevate the floor of what they're talking about. And that is the thing that people are missing. That is the thing that people are missing in the midst of all this, is the Cleveland Browns have upgraded their team to a point. And some of the things that you see in training camp put them in a position where the Cleveland Browns are well aware that y'all keep talking about this other stuff, but we talking about that game of football. Y'all keep talking about that other stuff, we gonna talk about that game of football. Y'all keep talking about that, we talk about blocking guys. We tackling. There you go. That's double team to the next level. That's what I like to see. Hey, look, good handwork, good that. This is what it's about. This right here is what it's about. This is what it's about, not the rest of that stuff. And the Cleveland Browns did something that I think a lot of people were disappointed in, because they thought they was gonna come in here and fumble this bag. But you know what they actually did? They came in here and did what exactly they were supposed to do. There's a reason why we're showing trench work. You see why we showing trench work? It's because they retooled their entire offensive front. Fano, first round talent, coming in here being ready to go. Braysford coming in, they drafted him. As you see, the thing that people miss is the trench work. When you got somebody up front, and when you've actually put to retooling what they were doing up front, it puts you in a different perspective. The best thing about the Cleveland Browns, and I told you, we did this on Final Cut. We did this on Final Cut because, like I always say, yeah, you talk narrative all you want, right? But the thing that we talk about all the time that you got to really, really touch down on is how can you get better at the margins? And the guys on the football field got better at the margins, and they were able to do things like this. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. I always talk about the 4 tenets in which you can win football games. I always talk about the 4 tenets in which you can win football games. And one of those is how an offensive line, if you upgrade your offensive line, where it helps you, right? People talk about this all the time. And this is the thing I always look at the situation with, is you got to be multifaceted. Yeah, you could talk about, I always tell people like this. We individuals, even with football, we could talk about controversial things, we could talk about narrative, and we can have receipt. But sometimes you got to have something that's some substance. That's junk food. It feel good. Eat McDonald's feel good in the moment. But other than that, what are we talking about? You got to have substance. You got to have some things that you could really stick to your ribs, that you can lean, that you can eating junk food all day. when you get down to the numbers and the weeds, and this is the stats we should be talking about, not EPAs and all that good stuff. Let's just go ahead and throw this out here to you. Let's talk about how elite offensive line play and what they did in the offseason to bolster the offensive line helps everything. There were games last year, the Buffalo game. Shedeur Sanders is dropping back. They got an opportunity to move down the field. Guys is not missing blocks. Guys are just coming in getting sacks, running for your life. Statistically, teams who allowed 2 sacks or fewer per game, teams allowing 2 sacks or fewer per game, 72% of those teams were playoff teams. Each sack cost offenses negative 1.8 expected points in a drive. So when we talk about this, I think it's always ironic that we always move to the time to throw. He has the most time to throw. Guess what? You do not take in consideration that most time to throw does not take in consideration if the quarterback is mobile enough to extend plays and to get out of sack opportunities. If a quarterback is mobile enough and he can get out of the first sack, the second sack, or even the third sack to extend the play, that's going to give him more time to throw. The stat that you have to look at is understanding whose fault was it. Was it the quarterback for holding the ball too long? Was it the receiver for not getting open and running the wrong route? Or was the offensive line the key in not blocking? And you won't be able to understand that or get that until you talk about the trench game. Teams with top 10 pass protection win percentage is 2 times higher than those of the bottom teams. So you say the Browns are going to win how many games? The Browns will win 5 games. The Browns will win 6 games. The Browns, I'm not going to just sit here and tell you because I just don't like the quarterback. I'm going to tell you exactly how the Browns can win 7, 8, 9 games. First and foremost, it's going to start with the trenches. The second thing that coincides with this is raising the floor of your guys around you, raising the floor of the guys and the individuals around you. One is the wide receiver room. You go from Jerry Jeudy being your only receiver, inconsistent, to now you have 2 guys. And remember what I talked about, right? Remember what I talked about. I said versatility. We talked about this early on in the process. And I want to tie this back together because now we have Todd Monken saying certain things, right? We have Todd Monken saying certain things that really add up to this, right? And he talks about how he wants multiple people to be able to play multiple positions, right? Let's take a look at certain things and ideas that his principles he'll have. Take a look at what he says about Denzel Boston and what he says about Casey Concepcion. Remember, we talked about playing multiple positions, understanding the X, the Y, the Z, moving in and out.
Question. I think you're better off at most putting them in 2. If you can keep them in one spot, that helps their development. But I don't think you can get away with that. They're going to have to learn at least a couple of spots. But you want them to be able to play fast and be able to function without having to think. And that's been difficult wherever I've been when you've got a rookie. Happened a few years ago at the place I was before. And you just got to be careful of putting too much on their plate. But I was awfully pleased with them today and how they functioned, got lined up. You can see their skill set. You certainly could today.
The thing about football is what you want to see as a play caller is I want to see the skill set immediately. And sometimes the skill set doesn't necessarily show early on. Sometimes that skill set necessarily does not make itself evident, right? You may not see that skill set right off. But when Todd Monken is saying, hey, I see what they talking about right now. By the way, I thought Casey Concepcion wasn't going to be out there. Maybe he did sign that contract. Maybe he did sign that deal, right? But you see it. When you talk about you seeing what the skill set is, now you can understand and think about where you're going to go with it, how we going to move with it. And the thing that's exciting for the Cleveland Browns is when you move these 2 young individuals into the mix, and watch this. They got character. They got the want. For so many years here in Cleveland, we didn't have the young guys that wanted to want. Casey Concepcion is a want guy. Denzel Boston, I want it. Quinshon Judkins, I want it. Shedeur Sanders, I want to be here. Spencer Fano, I want to be here. You see what I'm saying? These are guys that want to be here. And that is the biggest part in understanding how we move and what it is. They want to be here. And so when you imagine what they're able to do, let me just show you. I didn't get a chance to see this. This is stuff I like.
Casey, how you doing? Good, man. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you, David. Kevin, nice to see you. Thanks for coming. Hey, how are you? We're delighted to have your son in the building. JW.
Okay, Jimmy Haslam. You've been knocking out some shoulders, Jimmy. Hey, let me find out. Hey, Jimmy, let me find out you benching a little. You doing 225? Look how you looking at y'all. Don't you play with me. Run that back. Hey, Jimmy, I ain't know you. Hey, look, let me find out. Hey, when he said he was coming to the facility working out, I listen, shoot. Yeah, Jimmy looking.
Kevin, nice to see you. Thanks for coming.
You might have got you a gun show. Hey, you might have got you some triceps and biceps in before this. Hey, listen. Hey now.
We're delighted to have your son in the building.
JW. Hey, JW Johnson. Cam, good to see you.
Hey, I like to see that. Hey, let me come in here and talk to me real quick. What's going on? What else y'all got? Hey, let me see the energy level. I want to see it. Let me see.
Oh my gosh.
Get some shots.
Oh my gosh. Holy cow. I just wish my grandpa was here to see his name on a jersey. I'm excited. Honestly, it's just, shoot. I wore 5, and my brother wore 5 when I was in Little League, and I was a running back all growing up. And then right when I got too big to play running back, I said, all right, I'll do 2 5s now. That was really the whole thought process.
Hey man, you can tell. He like this man want to be here, man. You see what I'm saying? You got young dudes like this with this type of energy. How can you not get down with this? How can you not understand the grind? How could you not look at this?
Ms. Becky worked hard.
Oh my gosh.
Get some shots.
Oh my gosh. Holy cow. I just wish my grandpa was here to see his name on a jersey.
Man, if you come on, man. You know that's one of the first things you think of. Have you ever I was talking to my wife the other day, and she was saying that one of the craziest stories that she told me was like, there was in the Philippines, and she had at the time about 6, 7 of her siblings with her, and her mom, they was real poor, lived on the farm. Her mom took her mother took her down to the city to eat. And it was the first time that they had been in a restaurant. And her mom took all of them there. They didn't have no money. And so she told them that she wasn't hungry. And so her mom took them all down there, and they ate at a restaurant for the first time. And she said she saw like her mom take all of the leftovers after everything was done. And then she ate the leftovers because she didn't have enough money to pay for everybody, but she just wanted to make sure her kids could eat. And so she always remember every time we go somewhere, whether, we do 50, we do a big video where we get over 100,000 views, or we go somewhere and we eat at a nice restaurant. And she said, man, my only regret is, man, I wish I had my mom here with me to celebrate it. I wish I had my mom here with me just to show her that I made it. Like, she passed away before she seen that I even made it. She passed away when we was poor and didn't have electricity. But she gave all of that to see us get there. And so I always remember, I'm looking at this guy as he's talking about it, and he's talking about getting to a point where he's like, man, the first thing he thought about is, I wish my grandfather could see this. I wish my grandfather could see this, man.
I'm excited. Honestly, it's just, shoot. I wore 5, and my brother wore 5 when I was in Little League, and I was a running back all growing up. And then right when I got too big to play running back, I said, all right, I'll do 2 5s now. That was really the whole thought process.
Hey man, I love watching. It always brings me back. Always remember this: no matter how upset you get or you be mad what people say, you always come back to what means the most. And it's the fact that you support young people that's out here trying to do something. It comes down to people and reality. And I just love that I love that energy. I just love it. I just love I love seeing young men chase their dreams and actually do it. Chase their dreams and we're going to show them all love.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Just with my family here.
That's awesome. Hey, we are going to take you off the board here in the 7th round.
Yes, sir.
We're excited to make you a Brown.
Let's go, Phil.
Elite makeup, great versatility, and we're looking forward to using you in our offense, man, all right?
Yes, sir. That's sweet. I'm so excited. Love that.
All right, I have Coach Monken. He wants to talk to you for a little bit, all right?
Okay, sounds good.
Carson, congrats.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, long day, I'm sure, but it's worth the wait. Love your versatility,
Yes,
be able to move you around on the line of scrimmage, off the line of scrimmage. Obviously, BYU did a lot of great things with you, and you showed up on tape. Not only your receiving skills, but your ability at the line of scrimmage and in line. So can't wait to get started. Again, congrats. All the hard work paid off.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. I'm
You
excited
bet.
too. Can't wait.
All right, enjoy it with your family. We'll see you in a couple weeks. All right?
Sounds good,
Yep.
Coach.
Listen, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. It's the people. It's the human factor. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're looking at.
Ninth pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Spencer Bono, tackle, Utah.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Hey, did you like your road trip from Indianapolis to Cleveland last month?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
You want to come back?
I'd love to come back.
Hey,
I would love to come back.
Congratulations. Well deserved.
With the 24th pick, the Cleveland Browns select Casey Concepcion.
You're explosive. You have the makeup that we want.
I know you are.
We are here to announce the 39th pick for my Cleveland Browns, Denzel Boston, wide receiver, Washington.
Congratulations, we're fired up to get you here, okay?
You're 6'4", 215. You're strong. You've got great hands. I need you to bring some bully ball to Cleveland on the perimeter, all right?
Yes, sir. For sure.
The 58th pick, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, DB Toledo.
We traded up to take you off the board here. When we watched you for the first time, our safeties coach put a sticky on my computer. Big old heart with Emmanuel McNeil Warren. So we can't wait to get you out here and get you up and running.
With the 86th pick, Austin Barber, tackle, Florida.
You keep some of that orange you had from the swamp and wear it here, all right? Yeah, you go. I got our GM, Andrew Barry. Good luck.
146th pick, the Cleveland Browns select Parker Brailsford, center, Alabama.
Welcome to the dog pound, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank
Yeah, I
you.
think everybody is super fired up to see you get in here, stop mauling some people around.
The 149th pick, Justin Jefferson, linebacker, Alabama.
What's up, Justin? How we doing, buddy? Your speed, your motor, your athleticism, it's perfect for our defensive system. I've got a special team staff who is jumping for joy right now that we're making this pick.
Here we go with the 170th pick, Joe Royer.
You're a perfect fit for what we want to do with this offense. Love your size, love your versatility, love your ability with the ball in your hands.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate you guys.
First pick now.
Arkansas.
We have a very competitive quarterback room, okay, so nothing's guaranteed, but you have all the physical characteristics to play the position at a high level.
Yeah, long day, I'm sure, but it's worth the wait. All the hard work paid off.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy that we have to bring it back to this. And my question to you guys is out here is, a lot of people call people delusional and all kind of different things. And my question is, don't you want the Browns to win? Aren't you a Browns fans? How can you not watch this and see guys excited about starting the journey, representing the city you start from? I don't know if these guys are going to be champions. I don't know if these guys are going to be good. Some of them might not even make the team. But I think there's something to be said about celebrating people that represent your city, represent your colors, and guys that's coming out here supporting and representing your city. I don't know where you're from. I'm from here. And so you got to understand, too, that sometimes people don't have comments that ain't really from here. But I think the thing that we're missing, and I had to go back and remind myself, because you know what? People may say things that you don't like, but you got to remind yourself what it's all about. Remind yourself what it's all about. It's about the game. It's about what the game says, what the game teaches you, lessons. I would be doing everybody a disservice if I talked about receipts every single time I came up here. Some stuff we got to get to, some stuff we don't. But it's my responsibility to give you some substance as well, to show you the human side, to show you, to educate you on how 4, 5, 7 young men's lives changed. And if you want to be the change and you want to talk about what you want to see, if the media is different from what you say you are, then you have to offer the change. Think about those young men who came up in here and did Brown's rookie minicamp. And the only stories they turned on the radio, maybe that they talking about us. Hey, the parents from out of state, they have different programs. Maybe they get into the car and they turn it on and they turn the radio on and this. The quarterback ain't this, the Browns are a dumpster fire. They're like, well, maybe they might be talking about, like, is this the right place? They get on the internet, they look at YouTube, and they telling them they're gonna win 3 games. Like, bro, what am I in the alternate universe? They call their other rookies, the friends in other college places. They say, hey guys, what's going on? How rookie minicamp going with y'all? Oh, it's going great. Everything's good, man. I did an interview at the radio station, did a couple of interviews, man. Coach, hey, what's going on with y'all? Y'all doing y'all got any? Nah, we ain't do no interviews. It's kind of weird. Like, it's almost like the people that's reporting ain't really, like, they're not really, I don't know how to explain it, man. They're mad. And so when you think about that, you can either highlight it or you could do something different. And so what I had to do was go back and remind myself, because this happens. I had to remind myself, this is football. This is not who said what. This is football. This isn't, let's just talk. No, what matters in football is football. It's what happens on the field. It's what happens in the locker room. It's what happens, the interaction between the young men. It's about camaraderie. It's about brotherhood. It's about fighting through adversity. It's about putting it on the line for another person. It's about looking at another person's eyes and saying, hey, man, I'm out here with you early in the morning too. Hey, man, my body's hurting just like yours too. Hey, man, I know what you went through because I was with you too. I'm away from home for the first time. We all rookies. We all together. That's where the hungry dogs come from. That's where Quinshon Judkins and all those dudes talked about it last year. And how you rebuild a culture and how you rebuild people and how you lift people up is you don't do it once. You get a nice draft class one time, and then you get another draft class the next time. And then those two people put it together and put synergy together. And then before you know it, you got something special. But let me just tell you something. Special don't happen outside. Special happens here. Special don't happen outside your circle. It don't happen outside on the margins. It don't happen when people is writing articles. It don't happen when loudmouth people like myself get up here and talk on Sundays. It happens when people is locked in together. And what you got to realize, when you lock in with people and you got like-minded individuals, anything is possible. Anything. But you got to lock in. And sometimes people call you delusional, and I always say, yeah, good, call me delusional. Because if I wasn't delusional, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today with 2,000 people watching. I would have stopped years ago. I would have said it's not possible. Nobody gave me a job, so I'm not getting one. If I wasn't delusional, I would have never created this logo and said, this is going to mean something one day. I'm going to have my own shirts. If I wasn't delusional, I wouldn't have started doing a membership program so I could get other delusional people to come hang out with me. See, it's a funny thing called delusion. Enough delusional people all only turn out into a lot of successful people. What are you willing to be delusional about? Because as long as you got the idea and you got the work ethic to follow it, there is nothing you cannot do. Love it. Because when you by yourself and you do it by yourself and you roll by yourself, when they come back and they tell you and they want to pat you on the back and say, I always knew it. No, you didn't. You know who carried me? God carried me. That's it. He carried me. That's it. So you may get frustrated with the last stuff you hear. That's cool. You may get a little frustrated, but always come back to what it is. Come back to what it is. Come back to the foundations. I know we like a lot of junk food, but come back to a balanced meal. Come back to the foundation and tap in and let yourself know that just because the noise gets louder, sometimes you need to quiet your spirit sometimes just to get through the noise. That's all we talking about. That's all we saying. I got a couple more things. The Kool-Aid Mafia is founded on delusion. There it is. There it is. There it is. It's founded. We talk about it's founded on delusion. And by the way, I was one of the delusional people. Kool-Aid Mafia started. People don't know how Kool-Aid Mafia started. Kool-Aid Mafia started because when Joe Flacco got here, I delusionally said Joe Flacco was going to throw for 300 yards. He threw for 300 yards the first day. They laughed at me. I was on UCSS. They laughed at me. Come on, G. Joe Flacco's throwing for 3. He threw for 300. Guess what? 4 straight weeks he threw for 300 yards. Every week I called it out. By the 5th week, I had shirts that said Kool-Aid Mafia. Browns went to the playoffs that year with Joe Flacco off the couch after they were written off, left for dead after Deshaun Watson got hurt. So I've been drinking Kool-Aid. I've been supporting. We've been holding it down. All we need is some new people. We got the coalition. We got them. You know what Todd Monken told us? You know what Todd Monken told you? He hear you loud and clear. Go back to that interview. He hear you loud and clear. You know what Todd Monken said? First of all, it's a blessing. First of all, it's a blessing that you people talk about us like this, because that's the reason we got so much money. Without people caring about what we do, he understands what it is. And the thing is, don't worry about the other things. Don't worry about the light stuff. Don't worry about the stuff where somebody has been saying. Worry about this. You got a bunch of young dudes in the locker room that's looking for some cheer partners, that's looking to turn something up into something, that's looking to find a couple people that's willing to back and roll with them. They're looking for a couple of good fellas, a couple of good supporters, a couple people that want to turn this thing back into what we used to be, the dog pound, where you came into the Cleveland Browns Stadium, you knew you was up for a long day. You knew you was up for a long night if you came to Browns Stadium, because the fans was ready to go. They never stopped believing. I was here in 2016 when the Cavs was cooking. If you came to the Q and you had Kyrie and you had LeBron and you had Kevin Love, you was in for it. Even when Steph Curry had the mouthpiece and they was the greatest team, guess what? It didn't matter. Back in the day when Bernie and the Cardiac Kids and Sipin, you got to understand, them folks was down. There is something that's palpable about that. When you get a lot of people moving in a certain direction, bro, you can't do nothing with that. And you got enough young kids that then came from winning programs that is dying to be delusional. That type of energy can take over the NFL, bro. That type of energy is great. They ain't even jaded yet. They didn't even had life's lessons just weigh them down. They ain't got it yet. They still think that they can win and they could conquer the whole world. All you need is a couple of people to salute. All you need is a couple of people that's willing to pull up, that's willing to support, that's willing to show love. And we got people out here claiming that they from the city, claiming that they like the team, claiming that they want what's best for the team, but everything they say is the opposite out of their mouth. Everything they say is the opposite. Everything they do is the opposite. Everything they do, listen, well, you let them be opposite. You get with these young dudes. That's what I'm going to do. Denzel Boston in the red zone. Casey Concepcion, I done already seen him return the kick. I done seen it in my mind. I done seen Shedeur Sanders throw bombs. I done saw Quishon Judkins run people over. I done see Todd Monken going crazy on the sideline. And I'm telling you, it ain't going to be no feeling like it. Ain't going to be no feeling like it. We was written off. We've been told off, but it's a new day. It's a new day. Get ready for it. By the way, the bandwagon is open. The ark is still open. Come on over here. Come on over here. Don't let it start raining. Let's talk about it. Let's get to these super chats. Talk about it. Mick Purnell. G. Bush, thank you for being liaison for Browns fans and the truth of the Browns content. Everyone can't go to training camp. I get you. I get you. What I try to do is I try to be a person that keep it real and give you insight to your team. There are people that listen to this podcast all around the world. And the reason I'm passionate about this is because I used to live not in Cleveland. I used to live in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I didn't have no access to my teams. I didn't have no access to nothing. You know, I eventually got together and figured out and settled into a place. But the thing about sports teams, sports is something that's critical to your identity. It's critical as a comforting sensation. It's something that's familiar. So if you out somewhere and you ain't grown up from the Cleveland area and you somewhere else around the world, one of the coolest things is to be able to get on your phone, because it wasn't there when I was there. to get on your phone and to catch up and then find Joe's favorite sports team. That's the great part, to find your sports team, right? And so that's what I try to do, is give people a slice of home. Anthony LaFair, the reality is deeper than sports. We're pushing to forgiveness, acceptance, and second chances for one, and hate on Shedeur, and he ain't did nothing. Wonder why. You know, I tend to always talk about this before. I always get into it where I don't like pitting one person against another. And to be honest with you, when it comes to Sorsby, Cleveland Browns at certain points in time don't even have the infrastructure to help that young man. Bringing him into a situation where you already got the white light, just the bright white shining beam on everything. I mean, it's white hot. You got Deshaun Watson. You already got Dylan Gabriel. You got Taylor Green. You got Shedeur Sanders. Everybody in the media is looking. And it's almost like you say, oh, go add this person so we can have a land of just the craziest storylines so we can eat. No, that dude is trying to figure out how to get his life back together. And people are just saying, oh, let's just collect quarterbacks. It's just, I don't know, man. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. If you would go around and say, okay, well, I think you should, take a look at him, that's fine. Whatever. I can hear the conversation to say, okay, well, look, I ain't doing it just to be a hater. I think he could play, and I really like him as a player, and I think that he could get in the system and do something. I don't got a problem with nobody saying that. What I have a problem with is the way they phrase certain topics and arguments. And now MKC is trying to build up Taylor Green. Hey, listen, nah. And that's what I always say. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for a lot of things. Taylor Green, I don't got no problem with Taylor Green. I think he got a nice skill set. I think he's a tremendous athlete. And I can support Taylor Green as well. Taylor Green is on my team. My goal is to stop using players on the same team against players on the same team. Taylor Green is a guy who is fulfilling his dream just like Dylan Gabriel is. And I think I've been clear on Dylan Gabriel. Have I been running around telling people to get rid of Dylan Gabriel? Absolutely not. I don't like divide and conquer. People misinterpret the don't judge. We supposed to judge. We are not supposed to judge to condemnation, because if your character or actions don't align, change your name and change your character. I think there is judging is, I truly believe that there's only one person who can judge your content and your character, and that's the Lord. But for me, he's the only one that's going to have the final judgment on anything people talk about anyway. But the thing that I try not to do is I try not to, I'm not going to judge people. And that's why I was kind of, it hit me different, because I'm like, man, this dude is trying to stay out the radar. He's trying to figure out how he get his career back. He's trying to go through legal issues. And it's funny because his name is being brought up with the Browns, and it's because it's the desperation level of just pulling any quarterback name out of the air, which is, I haven't seen anything like this, and with multiple other organizations. Jason Cozy says the Cleveland Browns can't get out of their own way. G. I stated this before too. Think about it like this. Can you imagine when you do certain things like that, what would you be putting on your head coach? So the head coach is saying it's a competition. He's trying to conduct a competition, but you are advocating going out, getting another dude in a supplemental draft to bring him in. And he already done told you about Taylor Green. And like, he needs to find a way to get him reps, and they don't know what they're going to do with Dylan Gabriel. Like, it's like, that would not be a wise thing for Andrew Berry to do for his first year coach. And I think a lot of people understand that. D Neon says, G. Bush, I'm convinced the people in NFL circles just hate the Shedeur family because this is ridiculous. Sorsby is a discount Jackson Dart. I think what it is that I don't think they hate or don't like Shedeur Sanders' family. I think they don't like what he represents. I'm going to tell you this. The fact that he has a media company and a camera crew following him all over the place, that's the thing. That's been documented. They don't like that. And it's because there's a hierarchy. It used to be a hierarchy in the media, and it's just not anymore. And I think they scramble to grasp onto that hierarchy. D-Dog says, final content idea, anybody but Shedeur Court. Gather all the clips of the talking heads advocating for the different quarterbacks and sentence them based on the egregious suggestion. That was actually funny. But D-Dog, guess what? That'll take too long. And then that would just be amplifying it, right? It'd be funny. because we would have to go way back. But it would be funny. But that wouldn't be productive. What I like to do is I just like to show people, improve, and do certain things. And I think that we did this, and this was going around, and I think a lot of people seen it. And I talked to them. I threw this out here, and I did this with FB teams, and I just like to throw it out there so people see it. You know, a lot of people will phrase and say that this is the worst of all time, which is patently false. He's the worst quarterback of all time based on what scenario? Here's the problem. I've always said it's too early to decide. You got a 3-4 record. You see what his stats are. But if you don't put it in context for people, if you never put it in a way people can understand it, people can just go around and say he's the worst ever, and you just got to take it and keep it pushing. But when you put it in this context and you say, okay, let's take a look at, here's some other great quarterbacks, right? Here's some other quarterbacks. And then people will say, G. Bush. G. Bush. But these guys were all first-round picks. Gardner Minshew wasn't no first-round pick. He was 3-4, 1,900 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. 67% completion percentage. He probably has the best stats of anybody up here. Gardner Minshew has thrown for more yards than Troy Aikman in 7 games, John Elway, Peyton Manning, Josh Allen, and Steve Young. Vince Young had the best record. He's 5-2. Marcus Mariota. Look at Marcus Mariota's numbers. 1,600 yards, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. After 7 games, there's no way you could tell me you understood what these guys were, because you can't tell what somebody's going to be in football in 5 games. That's or 7 games. That's the actual point, right? That's the point. Sapper Daddy said MKC is really saying she would give up 2 future second round for a gambling addict. So I would give up, think about it. You would give up Denzel Boston and Quinshawn Judkins, their second round picks. You would give up, think about this. You would give up Carson Schlesinger and Harold Fannin Jr. And he was a third round pick. No, sir. No, I can't do it. JB Smooth says, Shedeur derangement syndrome at its finest. That's funny. Listen, every time he talk, they gonna cook. Them boys wanted Manziel 2.0. I just watched the Barbershop and the Dogs podcast at this point. G, you think the link with Josh, he's fair in his takes on the Browns. You and Tings was on one last night. Listen, I like the Dogs podcast. I use a lot of their stuff. Like when they put stuff out. The thing that I like to do is I like to celebrate the people that actually do it, that actually put out fair content, that actually put out some stuff that ain't. And FB teams and a lot of the people I bring on here, this ain't no thing where we gotta like this is thing where we talk football. You know what I'm saying? We actually talk football. People that come on here are members only. People, Sean King or Chef Zay, or there's a lot of people who said things like, hey, Shedeur needs to approve on this. He needs to approve on that. He needs to approve on this. Hey, we've seen it. That's why the crazy part about it is when people try to say, oh, you're in the bag. Listen, every one of these members sit here on the games, after the games, and we sit here and we talk about the throws, the interceptions, the sacks, the turnovers. We watch them together. So the narrative that somehow we are in some sort of, I don't know, like where we can't call out Shedeur, we can't say he played bad. No, we sat here and watched we did a review of every single game that the Browns played. So, that really don't ring true. We let the facts speak for what it is. We let it speak for what it is. R.I.P. Jim Donovan, a real Browns media fan. Mick Purnell. I always say shout out to Jim Donovan, and I want to say a special shout out to the Haslam family. Dee Haslam, coming out and saying that she has a rare form of cancer or leukemia, and so I want to send shouts out to them and prayers to them, because and shout out to Coach Prime, who also is a cancer survivor. So cancer brings a lot of people together because cancer is indiscriminate. Men, women, old, black, white, young, children, adults. It don't have no picks. So I'm glad that she donated a ton of money to research. So shout out to Dee and Jimmy Haslam and any of the cancer survivors in this chat or on this channel. So we salute and we stand with you guys. Jinx says, can we re-sign Johnny and resurrect Aaron Hernandez for after Sorsby? The Browns can have a full set of dysfunctional quarterbacks. Listen, I'm cool on that. I'm just let the sleep and let the everybody rest in peace. I will say this though. Sometimes sometimes I can't move myself just because as I get older, I'm not gonna do that. I can't co-sign certain moves. I just can't do it. You know good and well that's not a good idea. Why would you bring somebody with that type of, and I always said this, I'm for second chances, right? I used to be a person who hired people all the time. Sometimes there's a difference between saying you want somebody to have a second chance, or if it's a good idea for them to have a second chance where you are at in your organization. It ain't good for everybody. Somebody somewhere can take a risk on you, but at certain points of time, there's risk aversion that you may have. And right now, the Browns should be super risk aversion because they don't have the infrastructure or the bandwidth to deal with that type of thing. If you got one person that needs resources, that's cool. If you got one person in the locker room that's doing, like, they got some extra stuff, that's cool. But you can't have 4 people in the room, like, with stuff. It just don't work that way. Happy Mother's Day, day 2, the outstanding mom. Shout out to Big One J. We appreciate you. Shout out to all mothers. Shout out to all. If you're a mother figure, shout out to you out there as well. If you're out here mentoring, we appreciate all the ladies and all the super ladies, CU aunties, and people who support the barbershop. Jinx says Sorsby checked himself into an inpatient treatment center. People do that when they are guilty of DUI or possession of drugs. Him checking himself is a admission of guilt and trying to avoid prison. I wouldn't say that. I would say the first thing I would say is I'm glad he's getting the help that he needs. It's all too often that there's a lot of people who will let circumstances overwhelm them and they don't never seek help. They never seek the foundation and seek the treatment and the help that they need, and they let it fester in silence. So I would rather him go get the treatment he needs and raise his hand and say, it's okay to raise your hand and say, I need help. So that's one of the things. It's okay to raise your hand and say, you know what? I don't got control in this one. I need some help. So that's the biggest thing to me. If he's at a place like that right now, why are we talking about football? He's not at a place he should be talking about football. He should be talking about figuring out how to get his life back on track and then do some things and to get everything solidified. Shoe says, Zach said on UCSS that him and Jason heard months ago that that the starting job was Deshaun's to lose. So why did they let Mary Kay scoop them months later? Here's what I'll say about, let me show you, let me just give you this. It's the way it works. I always tell people like that. Everybody can have sources. It's about where your sources come from, and ultimately, are those sources correct? It's not about the sources. There's lots of people that may tell you Deshaun is the guy. As many people tell you that, I can tell you there's many people that say Shedeur is the guy, including his teammates, multiple teammates. But the reality of the situation is this. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it. We're all in an opinion game. But I'm going to take what the coach just told me. There's a reason they interview coaches. He's the one making the decision. Andrew Berry's making decisions. If they've said it's about competition, then let it be about competition and let it play out. I don't got to tell you, frankly, because we don't know who's leading on they're not even watching all the practices like that. They're not allowed to see certain things at training camp. And let me just tell you this. This is where football knowledge comes into play. And sometimes, and I put this on myself too, because a lot of times I think about the way I'm going to cultivate a show and the way I want to articulate myself to the audience. I think we've done a bad job, us football players have done a bad job of just frankly stopping people and saying, no, that's not the way football works. Nobody in shorts and helmets is got a job. Nobody is above the pecking order until those pads get on. Until you got the danger of another grown man stacking the quarterback, hitting the quarterback being under duress, offensive line blocking, Myles Garrett in front of you, Denzel Ward locking you up, you're going against another player anywhere else. Whatever you saw in shorts and T-shirts is not the way the game of football is played. So you saying that is uninformed. That's an uninformed opinion. You can have that opinion, but let me just tell you, if there is no live bullets happening, you're not getting a gauge on none of that. Football is played at 1,000 miles an hour. It's a violent game. You can't have that taken out and then be like, oh, I know who's good. No, you don't. No, you don't. You can't know that. And because we kind of just sit here and tap dance a little bit because you don't want to argue with everything. It's a person's opinion. But I think I don't got to refute you every time somebody say something. But let me just tell you this. Every player knows that there is a difference between what you do in shorts and what you do when them pads get on. And there ain't no pads getting on until August. So we can all have mythical quarterback races about who we think is leading. But until them pads get to smacking, it is what it is. It is what it is. Anthony LaFleur, America has infatuation with humbling black men. I wish that was false. But our history is our history. I wish that was false. A lot of times they just want you to be like, hey, tell your dad and your brother not to say anything. Bro, I got a dad and a brother. They say whatever they want to. They grown men. That's like going to the talk show host and say, tell your brother on Twitter to be quiet. Like, what are you talking about? Like, my brother-in-law can say, what? Come on, man. Weird Vet 81, Professor Bush classes in session. I mean, it might have went over some people's head. Who knows? Anthony LaFleur, preconceived notions. Every time I say where I went to college, I get asked, what sport did I play? I went to school on an engineering scholarship. It's one of them things, too. Have y'all ever heard this? I used to always be in corporate America. And there is a unwritten thing. I think I was only the only black male team leader in our office. We had to have over 3,000 employees. And the thing that always used to happen was there was a perception that because my team liked me and that I had a good relationship with them, I became the relationship building guy. But it was a perception that because I was so good at relationship building and getting the most out of my team, and my team loved me, that I wasn't as good as other people when it comes to the numbers, email etiquette. You have great soft skills, but the hard, concrete, analytical skills, well, then you don't have those. Or you do, but you need to brush up on them. You're not as strong in that area. That's the thing that comes with the perception. The perception is you have to inflate some part of your personality, but we also have to deflate. We can't just have you be across the board. You got to have something that we point to. G. Bush, today's show is fire. I'm curating a small group of people watching, including the Barbershop, Things, B. Watts, and Chef Zay. Vote with our eyeballs. Gina Lemonade, thank you so much for the chat. And we appreciate you being a member for 6 months. You know, what I'm doing is I'm strictly educating. I'm trying to educate you. And listen, I tell people all the time, I ain't telling you who to listen to. You listen to whatever you want to. As a matter of fact, sometimes you should be listening to certain things. You should listen to be well-informed. You should always know what people are saying. But I also say that sometimes we can't be so quick to want to get into the verbal joustings back and forth, because I think those verbal joustings, I think they're poking the bear a little bit. And I think some of the inflammatory things that they say is slanted towards getting engagement. And I think it's okay to watch. It's okay to be informed. But watch when the people try to manipulate your emotions. Natural Abshir says, the sad part of his worst case scenario is for Sorsby is getting drafted by the Cleveland in a supplemental draft. He needs to go somewhere with less toxicity and stability. Wishing him the best. Thank you. That's a great comment, because the thing that I got and why I didn't want to engage in it was because this ain't. You know, when you're trying to go through healing process and you're really trying to get your life together, the worst thing you can go to is a place where you got a level of toxicity where we use everything a quarterback does as storylines and fodder. He don't need no parts of that. He doing what's he right. He's seeking help, trying to figure out if he can go back to college. But you don't need this level of stress in your life. I mean, good gracious, you see how we act about everything. Keisha Stephanie Lyman said he heard Shedeur is not able to understand the playbook, so there is a reason to look at another quarterback. This is exhausting. Nah, Actually, Keisha, it shouldn't be exhausting. How many times do you have to listen to somebody tell you where they're coming from before you understand where they're coming from? So if I know where somebody's coming from, I shouldn't expect nothing different. That they've already stated where they're coming from with it. So what I would say is, if you've done the research and you understand that that is not true, if you've seen the film work and you know that that's not true, that he's not unable to understand the playbook, you have to do some critical thinking. How would he know that? I'm just asking questions. If less than 5% of the general population has ever played high school football, then how would somebody know what it looks like to be able to learn a playbook if they don't know what the playbook looks like or learn one themselves? Just a little critical thinking. Juwan, #says #new day. We appreciate you, Juwan. We appreciate you. Sapper Daddy. I remember in the 2000s, 2010s, we were just lovable losing Browns fans. Now that we might actually have start winning something, everyone who made their money of dissing the Browns are nervous to say that. Sapper Daddy said it. Some people would say that the opposite is true. Some people would say G. Bush is pandering to the other side. He's being delusional. And I always tell people, and like, we've been doing this for 12, 15 years. And I've been doing it on the internet. And guess what? We've still been doing that for years. Years we've been doing this, right? Let's continue to get going. Anthony LaFear, we came because of Shedeur Sanders saying, because of you, Earl and Tyvus. Well, we appreciate you, man. Shout out to those individuals who support what we're doing. By the way, we must say this. Me and Rosie, I believe Earl will be there as well. We have been selected. We were reached out to be a part of something that I really feel like is going to be dope. So we are part of, if I can find my promo, we are part of something special coming up. We got the R&B Awards, right? So the R&B Awards in Cleveland, Ohio, yours truly, G. Bush, will be giving out an award that night, and it's going to be it's great. I always say, you know what? I really wanted to be a part of always do an award show, right? And the final cut, make sure this is on. In the final cut, they reached out to us and they said, yo, G. Bush, we saw the interview you did with Doughboy. We want y'all to pull up and we want y'all to be in the building in terms of this. Let me see this. Let me take this down so you can see this. Here we go. So they reached out to us. Me and Rosie going to be in the building. Rosie, you got your clothes ready yet? You know what you're doing? Okay. Rosie says she got her fit ready to go. Let me see. There we go. The greatest R&B Legends Music Award 2026. Yours truly, G. Bush, will be in the building. We'll be honoring legends, Mary Jane Girls, Pico DeBarge, Mike Bonner, public announcement, floaters, and more. Presentation of Rick James Legacy Award with Ty James, his son. We will be there Saturday, May 16th. Red carpet is at 5 p.m. at the Rolex, 24900 Euclid Avenue, Euclid, Ohio. And that, if you want VIP services, if you want tickets, hit us up. Scan the QR code right there, 216-882-0093. Once again, 216-882-0093. Includes tables, seats, food, and more. And make sure you check that out. And by the way, I ain't just gonna give you the flyer. Let's go give you what you're getting when you step into the building. Let's take a look at that.
And your greatest R&B Legends Music Awards features Chico DeBarge. Public announcement. The Floaters. With legends, the Mary Jane Girls, honoring Rick James' legacy and more. Also with Cleveland's Industry Awards. Red carpet starts at 5 p.m. Saturday, May 16th at the Rolex, 24900 Euclid Avenue, Euclid, Ohio. At the Rolex. For VIP info, call 216-882-0093.
We will be in the building. I will be giving away one of those awards. Want to pull up, make sure you do that as well. We will be there on the gala on Friday, and me and Rosie and Earl will be there on the red carpet. So shout out to everybody out there, and shout out to Dennis and the award show. And he will be on Final Cut Wednesday and we're gonna get them interviews. We working on getting a couple of interviews for the honorees to come on this show specifically to talk about it. So let's continue to keep going. Let's see. All MK talks about is the quarterback like there's no other players on the team. Mr. and Mrs. Williams, thank you so much for becoming a member for 7 months. I think more than anybody and more than anything, I think that's the thing that what I try to do is saying I get mad that people only talk about the quarterbacks, but I can't be mad at people who talk about the quarterbacks because we know that's what it is. People talk about the quarterbacks the most because guess what? That gets the most clicks, that gets the most traction. So my job is to, how do I talk about the rest of the team and get people involved in an entertaining way to break down the rest of it? Because yes, quarterback is important. However, there are lots of things that are important. Let's go with Aaron, Aaron, R2P. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you. And we appreciate you, supporting the show. Greg Castellano says the Cleveland media doesn't even respect our head coach. So what makes anyone believe that they respect the team they cover or the people that support them? That's a fair assessment. I still can't believe people talked about Todd Monken not even being here and he hadn't coached a single game yet. Hadn't coached a single game. We now hear that nobody wanted Todd Monken to start with. How do we know he's such a great coordinator? We don't know if he's any good. How? I saw him win 2 national championships. How? He was there when Lamar Jackson won an MVP. And I thought he was super smart and super aware. He said, hey, look, Lamar Jackson was good before I started working with him. We did some things there, but Lamar was further ahead. I just like his honesty. We don't know that Todd Monken is going to win a Super Bowl next year. We don't know what the win-loss record is going to be. But I can't sit here and act like we can't imagine, based on his accolades and based on what his track record is, that he's not going to improve a team. And they just had 2 great draft classes and upgraded offensive line. How can we understand that? Anthony LaFair. Shedeur is supposed to be a finished product with no preseason. But when MK says it's imperative to announce a quarterback, so is training camp important or not? Well, I always tell people like this. That is when if you notice when we talk about the quarterback conversation, they have this artificial timeline. And what it is to get you on a timeline that says, if you don't have a quarterback by this time, things are wrong. If so-and-so does not take the job by this date, then things are wrong. You ever notice that a lot of if this happens, it tells us all we need to know about X. No, you're extrapolating that. No one said that. It's the same way that they've already extrapolated and say, if Deshaun Watson wins the starting job, we already know what we need to know about Shedeur Sanders. If Shedeur Sanders is a backup quarterback, we already know. We think that Dylan Gabriel is more suited to be. It's crazy. So that's an elevated time frame. That's why when I go back and I don't talk about the narrative, I talk about football. There's no way that you're going to say you better win this job in shorts and T-shirts. If you say that, you're not. And a lot of people aren't proponents of having quarterback competitions anyway, because everything they say is counter to a competition. Why would you advocate for a competition but then don't want the competition? It's the equivalent of what we say all the time. Would you say, Coach Monken? Would you say?
I said that many of times, like, I'm going to let all of the students take the test. I'm not going to walk in the classroom and before they even take a test, I'm going to observe the students and give them a grade based on what? How they look, how they dress, nationality, male, female. My job is to let it play out. And sometimes players have they have a fresh start is maybe the best way to put it, or a different style or a different system. So it's my job to do that. To me, it's the only way.
I don't understand how it can be less clear. I'm going to let all the students take the test. I'm not going to declare one student the smartest student in the class and give him the valedictorian. But then it comes out that he didn't have the best grades. You just simply let him take the test. He got a C, and the rest of the people couldn't even take the test. They just sat on the sidelines. But yet and still you're anointing the person the best in the competition when there is no competition. So he does a really good job of telling people and showing you like the stuff he's hearing and then explaining and putting an analogy to it. It's not our job to come up and say who's the winner first or who's winning right now. It's your job to get everybody take the test, and then you can make an assessment after that. Shout out to Coach. Heron says, old Cleveland is low vibration people. The Cleveland, New Cleveland, G. Bush, Big Stacks, B. Watts, Teens, Mad Dog TV, Simply Ball Dropping, Money Man, New Cleveland. The thing about vibration, and people say, low, high, medium, that's not a static thing. The way you think about certain things is changeable. Your perception of life can be changeable. You can always get new information. That's the greatest thing about human beings. It separates us from every other species on the planet. We are thinking, spiritual, able to understand and process knowledge. We're able to do those things, but you have to practice it. Always listen. I'm always trying to figure out whether or not I'm always questioning. Did I do a good enough job explaining? Could I approach it a different way? Did I say it the right way? Did I give it? Did I put the right visuals with it? Maybe I was wrong about that, right? Like I'm always trying to figure out what I could do to get better. Or if the way I'm looking at things could be, in a backwards way. And I think all people, if you're a person that wants to continue to be a learner or continue to be a person that can accept new information, you can change the way you think, and the way you think changes your perception on life. T Storm said, "Got my new Cleveland T-shirt. We appreciate you so much, T Storm. Thank you so much." CBS Rig says, "I truly believe Casey Concepcion in Boston can become the Browns' version of Chase and Higgins. I'm calling it now. Shedeur Sanders is going to be a top 10 quarterback in 2026. What do you think, G. Bush?" I think when you see Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston, I think that you see what I think about stackable traits. For once, we now have two players that lower or lower the way you have to. There is no margin for error last year with the Browns receivers because you had smallest receivers that probably weren't catching the football. And guys who couldn't separate. So if you got guys who can't catch the football, they have a smaller catching radius, and they're not guys that are getting separators. That forces the Browns quarterbacks to put the ball on the money every time. It has to be a perfectly placed ball. Now take in consideration that not only you have to have a perfectly placed football, you actually have to have time to get the ball out to those individuals. So now your margin for error is super small. Now you got a guy in Casey Concepcion that leads in contested catches in the league in the top 10. You got Denzel Boston with a frame that can catch the ball in the red zone. He's a really good hands catcher. He catches the ball, doesn't trap the ball on his body. And you got guys that have a mentality that are coming to get it done. And you got a guy that can go with special teams. So now your quarterback can give his receivers 50-50 balls like T. Higgins and Chase and Jefferson. Not saying they're going to be that, but now you got an opportunity where you can give guys a chance to get the ball out to the dudes. Seems like AB focused on character since D. Watt deal. I think AB is focused on, I think he's focused on playmakers and guys who are going to be available. And the situation with Deshaun Watson, if you go, and I covered that situation extensively. One of the things that we talk about too is in that case, there were lots of some of those allegations that were completely contrived. Let's not act like Busby didn't try that same song and dance with Jay-Z and got thoroughly embarrassed. Remember, he also threw his hat in the ring on the Diddy allegations. Turned out to not be true. This dude was running around getting money grabs all across the country until he kind of ran against somebody else that was not playing with you. Let's not act like Busby was above board. Ms. Bell said, I'm done with Mary Kay when she asked Shedeur about his Rabbit fans. I knew this was going to be a long road in Cleveland. Vibe this. What up, GP? Did you get that? Welcome to the yo. I actually got that too. So I got somebody. Is that the same person that sent me the two songs, or that's two different separate songs? Two separate ones? Okay. So we're gonna play next week. We're gonna debut Vibe This. We're gonna play that song, and we're gonna debut the Final Cut song on Wednesday. So you guys pull up, make sure you check it out. Next Saturday, we will play this song. Welcome to the Barbershop. It will debut. It will be the worldwide premiere, and we will do that on it's fire too. It's fire too. We appreciate you. We're going to play it in its entirety. And also we're going to play the other one. Somebody made one for the final cut. So we're going to do that as well. Mary asks, G. Bush, that's right. Let's get back to the football. Muted outside noise. Celebrate all the new players along with the favorite. With love, let's go Browns. Hashtag New Cleveland. Mute to Cleveland media. Mary to S12, thank you so much. That's what we need. That's what we need. We back at it. We back at it. You got to remind yourself, the Browns just got another haul of all kind of ball players that's going to get it done. They did a tremendous job. No publication gave anybody less than an A. No, I didn't see any publications with the Browns even being a B. And now we got these rookies in here, and I'm watching training camp, and I'm like, these guys don't even know what we look with. The world don't even know what we sitting on. The world don't even know what kind of artillery we working with, because we talk about quarterback stuff. But don't worry, we're gonna get back to that. We're gonna get back to what we got. Having membership on your channel is like being at an HBCU. Scholars have a conversation at an intellectual level on multiple topics, including football. Alexander Gallant, we appreciate you so much. That's what we like to have, the conversations. We like to challenge your thought process. We like to give you something from all different lives, whether it's economics, whether it's media, it's political, whether it's social studies, whether it's everything. We try to give you everything so that you can stay well informed. And then you can have a place that you can have discourse about it. You notice we ain't saying nothing about it. You notice, hey, Rosie, we don't be muting the haters, do we? We don't even mute them. They get their money off over here. Hey, name somebody that I done banned. We don't do that over here. We don't ban nobody. Only if you get disrespectful. Don't call nobody out their name. Don't be doing a bunch of extra calling. As long as you keep it respectful, I'm not gonna lie, G. Bush, but Boston looking way better than Tillman just running and catching the football. D_Neon. Yeah, Cedric Tillman's gonna have to have a heck of a camp. A heck of a camp. Jason Lloyd and Big Boy hedging their bets, saying 2 over Watson. We know why. We aren't asleep at the wheel. Teddy Hundo. You know why all this is happening, right? If you watch the channel, you know why. If you watch the channel, literally, these dudes is playing 8-dimensional chess. Think about this. What do? They're doing such a masterful job of towing a line where they know that the perception of both of the quarterbacks that are most likely to be starting quarterback week 1 do not have the media don't like either one of them at all. A lot of the fan base don't like them at all. So how do you give those guys a fair runway and keep the media at bay from just posting all kind of stuff? Well, you don't give them nothing. And when you do give them something, you give them vague. So what it does is split your attention. You don't know who to put your bet on. Because I say the funny part is I told you this way back last year at UCSS. So the funny part about Deshaun Watson is, what are you going to do when he comes back? Because you guys are going crazy about Shedeur Sanders. What if you got to choose between the two? Because that's what's going to happen. And look where we are. Now we're here. That's the reason they kept saying, I want a whole new quarterback room. Because if they draft a quarterback, then they can say we going to roll with the drafted quarterback. But they took a developmental quarterback in Taylor Green. See, now you don't know. You're confused. You don't know what's going on. Black Angus Project, Stockpile, G. Fano, KC, Denzel, Quinn, Bond, Fanning. If you can't get along, if you can't get average quarterback plays, the Browns will be a playoff contender this year. That's why you notice out of all of the people in the Browns stratosphere that keep talking about these quarterbacks, we ain't heard Joe Thomas say nothing. We ain't heard Bernie Sanders say nothing. Or not Bernie Sanders, just funny. That'd be funny if Bernie Sanders came out and supported Shedeur. That's wild. Bernie Kosar ain't been saying nothing. Ain't nobody obsessed with the quarterbacks but the people here. The other people that played, and they know what kind of offense that you sitting on. They know what kind of talent you sitting on. That's why they ain't tripping. MABBS. Do you think there is realistically a realm in which Nick Chubb ever returns to Cleveland? No. I always tell people like this. People are so fickle because they talked about how much they loved Nick Chubb, and then when Nick Chubb wasn't no good or he couldn't give them what they wanted, he got injured, they was ready to discard him. It's the way the game be working. That's why it's nasty work. You know what I'm saying? Miss Melanated, G. Bush is drizzling the door. It's half closed. It is getting kind of murky outside, and it's thunderstorming too. Daniel F. Todd, keep your content coming. New Cleveland mentality. Also dope. You have Team Double Earl and Ty long overdue. Side note, I want to tap in business and tip your brand. What's your business email? Daniel, you can hit us up at fifthdimensionmedia1@gmail.com. That's FIFTH Dimension Media, the number 1 at gmail.com. Straight talker. There's a difference between judging and assessing. Okay. I like that. You got to assess the landscape. We ain't gonna judge, but we got to assess whether or not this is a move that is going to be beneficial to both parties at hand. I like that. Davis Wiselove. It's hard to. Well, I'm trying to get the name right. You can see, I can't just say just Davis. It's hard to make up a narrative about Shedeur and have it stick when he has his own media team reporting things in real time. That's a big part of it. And I think this is the larger story is that a lot of people generally, when we talk about this, a lot of people don't understand that before the media was very pivotal in how people saw you. And then what they started to do was the media voted on your Hall of Fame status. The media voted on whether you were the MVP or the Player of the Year. And so you started to get these awards that were given to media. So when you give the media right to say you're a Hall of Famer or not, and then you give the media the right to say whether that you're the MVP or not, and then you give the media the opportunity to write what they want, absolutely not. And we just told you, less than 5% of them ever played anything at a high school level. How is that? Just throw it out there. Anthony Fear, determined to be not one of the others, what the media was to Shedeur Sanders. Determined not to be to others what the media was to. I got you. Yeah. I'm not about to do what they did to Shedeur Sanders to other dudes when you ain't got to go that route. I like that. Mr. Gribble, G. Bush, why do they hate Shedeur so much? Ain't this about winning? I've never seen one player go through all this in my life. Have a blessed day, G. Well, I think he threatens the power structure. I'll say that. And when you threaten the power structure, people ain't gonna go out lightly. I also think that it's not necessarily him, it's the things that come along with him, and namely people who support him, because they know people who support him don't play by the rules. They aren't shy. They don't go lightly. They don't let you forget what you said. And they are a lot of them and will pull up wherever. So I think that kind of rocks their boat a little bit too. Mick Purnell says, great show as always, G. Bush. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. TK says, the Browns media and the Browns are not the same. The Cleveland Browns have their own YouTube channel, Instagram account. Follow the team there. Shout out to the Browns. Make sure you go follow them on Instagram. I love the content. Whoever they got out there. I love the new direction. I love the fact that you're leaning into a new generation. I love the fact that you're showing the human side of some of these young players. I love the fact that you're more open, you're more honest, you give insight to what you're thinking. Those are all things that people criticize the Cleveland Browns for before. I think you're doing a great job in a way that you guys are really positioning yourself in the market to show what your team is about. And I like that. I appreciate it. And I like the fact that I've always said, Cleveland Browns, they do a lot of things, right? They could sit up here with this content and anything that you put up here. If the NFL wanted to make it difficult for you, they could. If you want to put practice up, they can tell you to take it down. If they want you to put up a jersey, take it down. If they want to use a logo, you can't even use the helmet if they didn't want you to. And I appreciate that Cleveland Browns let independent creators use that content to help promote the Cleveland Browns, because they don't have to do that. I've always said that. They don't have to do that. But I appreciate them for doing that, for content creators to be able to create this content to send out messages about the Cleveland Browns, because they don't have to necessarily do that. They can tell us to all kick rocks, and I appreciate them. Crow Dog said, it's refreshing being in a chat where everyone ain't fighting each other or the host. Have a blessed weekend, y'all. Happy Mother's Day. Go Cavs. And listen, that's the best part about where we at. We just want to be in a chat where we can all talk about the Browns being good. And my goal is, can you imagine what this is going to be like? Because we're going to do watch parties. We're going to do watch parties. We're going to do pregame. We're going to do postgame. And seeing these dudes come up and pull up and really be good next year, that's all I'm trying to see, man. Is to get the Brown. Well, boy, it's going to be fun. Man, this team going to be fun to watch. I'm telling you, man. I think my chat was missed. I was sent before you came on, so happy Mother's Day again. Might be user error on my end. Miss Bell, we want to appreciate all the mothers. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to we send a nice shout out to a happy heavenly Mother's Day to Rosie's mom, my grandmothers. So shout out to everybody out there, the mothers, and we appreciate what you do. We appreciate that. David Walker said the talent in the Cleveland is better than the old Cleveland. It used to be maybe the anybody but Shedeur theme would be a different hashtag new Cleveland. Trip the Ghost. The way you break it down, all this in a 360-degree fashion is so refreshing. You're a true journalist. I respect your craft. Super dope, OG. I thank you so much. I try to bring it in a different fashion way to think about it. But I don't want to, and I just want to tell people, listen, sometimes the receipt have to come. The receipts have to be there sometime. But the reality of the situation is, it's also my job to give you inspiration, to give you facts, to give you, to give you a real thought, to give you analysis, to give you all the above. You got to have a balanced diet. So for me, that's what I try to bring to you guys. Because, yeah, you can talk about receipts, but I want you to leave here feeling uplifted, feeling good, and feeling re-energized so you go back to the next week and so we can get to this season, man. Let's keep going. Mick Purnell, we are New Cleveland. Yes, we are. Yes, indeed, we are. Selmo for Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and G. Bush and Rosie. I will be in the building at the Rolex and looking forward to meeting you and Rosie, Earl, Big Dog. You putting on for the city. Selmo, we will be there. We will get you. As a matter of fact, we got you. We might even get you on cameras. We might even talk to you. We might have to. We make sure you pull up, Rosie. We get them together. Hey, we got our microphones ready. We got a nice little setup that we doing. As a matter of fact, let me just throw it back out there. If you want to be with us, you want to pull up, holler at us. Greatest R&B Legends Music Awards 2026. I will be giving out an award. I don't know who I'm going to give an award to, but it's an honor just being able to be on that stage and give out one of those awards, honoring Mary Jane Girls, Chico DeBarge, Mike Bonner. Public announcement, the Floaters, and more. Saturday, May 16th, red carpet at 5 at the Rolex. We'll see you there. Pull up. Let's go. Where we at? Cheryl Daniels, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Family, no playbook is harder than a college degree. Like B.B. King says, these my last few dollars on helping to debunk Cleveland media lies. There you go. What do you talk about playbook? A degree. You know what you got to do to get a degree? You talk about a playbook. Think about this. Think about this professional. That's like saying an astrophysicist that had made it to NASA don't understand basic math. He's been doing it his whole life. He had to get through it his whole life. Shedeur Sanders has only played quarterback his whole life. He did it at a high level in college. He does it. What do you mean he don't understand the playbook? What are you talking about? Loretta Smith says, all others are like Shedeur mimicking. I can't hear you and I can't see you like Stevie. I don't know. I can't see you, bro. Or everybody, when people get the loudest, ask yourself who's the quiet. All the players seem quiet, right? The last knocker says mustard seeds, hashtag dangerous and hashtag New Cleveland. I like that. I like mustard seeds. They small, but if you had faith of the mustard seed, you'd be. Cheryl Daniels, love the content, knowledge is power, hashtag new members. Thank you so much, Cheryl. We appreciate you becoming a new member. By the way, if you are a new member and you just pulled up, make sure you send us to fifthdimensionmedia1@gmail.com. Every member gets a shirt. Every member gets that. So make sure you hit us up. Let us know where we can send it, your name, your address, your shirt size, most importantly, and we will get that out to our new members. Rosie does a tremendous job of doing that. We want to thank her. And guess what? Tyvis got his hoodie. This is the hoodie Tyvis got. Boom, boom, right here. If you want this hoodie, check it out at bushlinebeauty.com, bushlinebeauty.com. If you've let them know in the chat. This is top quality. This ain't no, you put it in a washing machine and be looking crazy. It's top top notch. You see the Nike, you see the logo. It's the flyest gear. We're the only people in the game to do it. We're the first people. We're the first people that I know that ever just been in sports talk that they got their own clothing line. It ain't happened before. We drop ship like the biggest companies in the world. What are you talking about? Nothing but quality over here with the Barbershop. Only the finest. We appreciate y'all. Mick Purnell, I don't mind spending money on truth. Thank you, G. Bush. Thank you so much. D_Skull says, much respect. Love that you keep it truthful, respectful about football. The Barbershop is full of people with higher moral character that actually know football. And that's the biggest compliment I can get. I don't mind. Listen, hey, maybe, sometimes we're not going to be inflammatory. And sometimes them views might drop down. Sometimes the music, listen, I'll take 3,000 views as long as we're going to keep it 1,000. I'll take 3,000, but I'm not. Sometimes it don't do us no good to be rehashing this stuff over and over again. No, we're not going to do that. DK Harv 01 says Aaron Anderson. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. Aaron Anderson is a name. If you don't go check that out, Aaron Anderson from LSU. He needs to make this team better than Gage or Floria. All those boys, real LSU dog. If you know, you know. He is correct. Go watch Aaron Anderson. I think he's number 80. I think they gave him the 80. I like him too. He's a sleeper. I think he's going to make the draft. And guess what? When we start getting out to draft or training camp, you want to keep it locked. I'm going to be at training camp, walking around. And I'll be out there. All my brethren, all the media brethren will be out there too. You know, I'm going to come out there with the Barbershop gear on. I'm going to come out with the big panda. I'm going to break that out. We're going to be on the field. We're going to be we're going to give you reports. Make sure you subscribe. We're going to do it up at training camp. Sean says nothing. He just gave a super chat, and we appreciate that too. Thank you. Helene Yusuf, Guardians made an awful trade. I didn't see that. Helene, what happened? Huh? Guardians made a trade. What? I got it. What up, fellow Bulldog? AV Man Will. The Cleveland sports media is just like you said before, engagement farmers, Mary Kay. That's why she disables those comments. Hey, listen, I keep my comments on. I said, man, one of the great thing about me, I keep my comments on, and I also we don't be blocking nobody. We just put it up there. Mr. Johnson 402. I got Rosie out over here working on what happened on this trade. She gonna get me together. Rosie doing updates now too. She do graphics, updates. She be like a moderator. Shedeur Sanders had a different offensive coordinator every year since he left high school. He knows how to adapt and make lemons into lemonade. He know how to read a doggone playbook. That's absurd. The absurdity. Talk about Shedeur. No, stop. No Manzaret says made the final cut one, man. Members for 4 months. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. The Guardians acquired catcher Patrick Bailey from the San Francisco Giants. In return, Cleveland sent pitching prospect Matt Wilkinson, a 2026 draft pick, number 20. Dang, he was the number 20. Lean. He was the number 29 pick overall. Bailey's strength, elite defense, two-time Gold Glove catcher, struggles badly at the plate this season, very low batting average. They value defense and pitching support, especially at catcher, but they already got somebody that can't hit, and Bo Naylor. They already got defense in Hedges, Austin Hedges. What did it? It's a Guardian-style move. They're betting that the Bailey's defense will improve the pitching staff immediately. Their coaching can fix and stabilize his bat. It's not a flashy trade, but it could matter a lot in tight games, especially if they're pushing to the playoffs. Well, wait, I got to do some more research on that. I'm like, wow, did they give up on that prospect that quickly? Gotham Medium, G. Bush Priest, once again, when the suds die down, the dirt will show. Yes, they do, all the time. Get in that bathtub. You running that water up here ain't doing nothing. Helene, you said they traded a first-round pick and Tugboat. That was a whack trade. That was whack. I love Tugboat. That was a whack trade. It's nasty work, Helene. I'm with you on that one. Nasty work. What ain't nasty work is we got 1,653 people here at the end of a show, and that is a testament. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Happy Mother's Day. We appreciate you. With that being said, make sure Fifth Dimension Media 1 at gmail.com, Fifth Dimension Media 1 at gmail.com. But if you want the fresh take on sports, by the way, pull up tomorrow. We got a special little surprise coming up for you tomorrow. You'll like it. Just stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm sending this because I never sent my shirt. MoMani90. Send that email. Send that email to fifthdimensionmedia1@gmail.com. We'll get you together. With that being said, you never know where G. Bush might show up, radio, television, internet, but you want a fresh cut on sports. Make sure you hit us up and we keep the Clippers. Have a great rest of your evening. And as always, you know what it is. Go Browns.